Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to our weekly Sunday Sunset live chat. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right there. My latest forecast is at CWG.news/latest, and I go into some of the additional details of yesterday's downburst, but you can find all the details at CWG.news/downburst. Our severe weather expert, Jeff Halverson, did a great job of recapping things, and today, in my PM updates, I did report on more of his meteorological forensic analysis on some of the radar data available yesterday and some of the very high, over 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts that were detected above the ground that luckily did not completely reach the ground yesterday. So I know we're all cleaning up. We are sending you our positive thoughts after yesterday's storms for sure. Now, temperatures this week start out mild and below average warmth, actually. We might have a hard time getting into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees, which is roughly average for this time of year. But it does warm up at the end of the week, and humidity starts creeping up a little bit too by the end of the week as well. Good evening, CD. There's wicked storms yesterday. Indeed, you can find the latest on that. Some of that at CWG.news/latest. I did put some of the details there. And the full debrief is at CWG.news/downburst CD. So I hope, thanks for tuning in from Twitter. I hope that helps answer all your questions there. We've got some great graphics, and we identify how it was not a derecho yesterday. It was not a tornado related damage. It was downburst damage. So please see all the details there. I'm really happy the team was able to put together such a great info packet for you guys. All right, here is another graphic to kind of demonstrate the background simulations and the weather models this week, kind of starting to allow for warmer temperatures trending upward at the end of this week. But dew points do behave until the very end of the week. We could see a 70-degree dew point, I think, by Friday as well. Lori, I'm so sorry you've been without electricity since Tuesday. Oh, until Tuesday night. That's terrible. I hope you have someone you can stay with if things get uncomfortable there. Good evening, David. Charlene, boy, it was hot in Lake Anna this week. Bathwater in the lake. I'm sure I would love a water temperature from there. I'm not sure if there's any gauges I could think of, but I would not be surprised if it's well into the 80s in that water in Lake Anna, even on the cool side of the lake. Hey, Rick, any heat waves coming in August? We will have that's a great question, and we'll have our August outlook released on August 1st for you on CapitalWeatherGang.com. We'll be sure to keep you posted. So far, I haven't seen any major signs just yet, but because it's August, I dare not rule out another heat wave. That is something I can say for sure, is that I should not be sure. And let's see, Rodney, I want you to cash in on this nice weather while we have it through the middle part of this week. It is going to stay relatively tame. This graphic here tries to show you things generally stay in the mid-80s, but the background simulations there at the end of the week, look at those peaks getting higher by the end of the weekend into the weekend. That is kind of poking a couple of those background weather temperature simulations above 90 degrees, so we could get a little bit warm again, but humidity does behave itself this week, keeping dew points below 70 until perhaps Friday, I think. Rick, you're most welcome. David, more rain chances. Let's go into precipitation for the week ahead. We do have maybe early morning, pre-dawn showers. Maybe a storm could wake us up a little bit early tomorrow morning, hopefully not, before our alarm clock. But the rain chances do kind of fade again by late tomorrow afternoon, early evening. We should be dry Tuesday, Wednesday. Rain chances come back a little bit there here on Thursday, is that part of the animation, and Friday as well. Could have some organized storms, so that could be a good rain chance again on Friday. Hopefully without some strong storms coming through. We'll keep our eye on that. There's no major signal just yet, but we'll watch it as rain chances and humidity do creep up at the end of the week. That is something to watch. All right, we've got Rodney. Thanks for tuning in. You're most welcome. And let's see, I think I've caught up on all the comments on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for now. But that, of course, is where I would love for you to follow us on all three of our social media channels. I'm simulcasting and live streaming to all three right now. CWG.news/Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can follow us directly on Twitter at Capital Weather. I guess I need to call it X now. I need to probably update my logo there. But we've got sunset now at 8:22 p.m. So I've subtracted and broadcasting earlier, 6 minutes earlier. than last Sunday. Pollen is behaving for us allergy sufferers, so that is the good news. There we are in pretty darn good shape, and here's my PM update directly at capitalweather.com or the direct link at CWG.news/latest. I'm Camden Walker. Thanks for tuning in for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. All right, Paul, you've gotten 1.86 inches of rain in the last week. Most of it was last Thursday. Let's talk about that drought. That's a great question. Here is the latest on our drought, still persisting north of D.C., a D2. That's a level 2 out of 4 drought. Considered a quote-unquote severe drought. That is the label moniker that goes with D2. It is a severe drought still, that patch north of D.C. in central Maryland. Hey, Julia, and indeed you need water for your plants, and I hate to report this to you gardeners and farmers. The rain over the next 7 days looks like it continues to persist, being lighter in those drought-stricken areas. Let me pan to that one more time. So see where we've got level 1 and level 2, D1, D2 droughts, moderate drought and severe drought in the darkest orange there. That, unfortunately, is where this 7-day rain forecast is the lightest, and the least rain may fall until you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. The favorable areas are kind of south of town, maybe even I would say south of the Rappahannock River, kind of east of I-95, east of the Bay as well, and down into southwestern Virginia toward Charlottesville. Could see over an inch of rain in the next 7 days as well. So there is some good news in our region, but it's not exactly targeted where we kind of really want to see drought-denting rain, so keep that in mind. But here's some somewhat good news. The next work week also has a signal in the atmosphere for a slight probability of above-average precipitation falling, so that at least should not make our drought any worse in the next kind of 14, 15 days or so. Our heat tracker might not get any additional days immediately that are 90 or higher, but we have gotten to at least 18 days of 90 degrees or hotter in Washington, D.C., and tracking still a little bit below average for year-to-date, even despite last week's heat wave. The signal for here in the region is kind of white. It's kind of equal chances, no major signal either way, whether we'll be below average leaning or above average leaning in our temperatures for next work week. So the atmosphere remains flexible a little bit on what it might do with our temperatures for next week. Quick check of the tropics, because I know several of you like me to check that every week, and I'm happy to. We have Central Atlantic disturbance, and that red X has over a 70% chance of developing, I think, in the next, at least a 70% chance in the next 7 days, I read on the National Hurricane Center discussions. The disturbance off of the Carolinas is also luckily moving out to sea, but concurrently low probability of even developing, so it's not really a worry to any landmass at this time. And the next name on our list, Emily, for the next named storm in the Atlantic, and that could very well happen in the Central Atlantic in the next 7 days. All right. Ooh, Charlene is great at following the Wallops Island launch Tuesday, so there'll be another rocket viewing to see there. For much of the East Coast, I suspect, if conditions are good, and they should be on Tuesday, we have a decent chance of staying dry and fairly clear. Indeed, Kenny, you were dry there in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'll continue to send you water wishes on Twitter as well. And indeed, David wants some DCA rains that most of us are getting. You want to spread that out, but you have DCAs where it's measured right now. And Ruth Elisa, I'm so sorry that a tree fell in your backyard due to storms. I hope all ends up okay and the cleanup is minimal. Many people are still without power, and we've got that coverage, at least on a weather note, of how that happened. It was not a derecho, it was not a tornado yesterday. It was downburst, so go directly to CWG.news/downburst to read all about it and see our graphical and essay debrief on all of the activity from yesterday. And even in my PM update right here at CWG.news/latest, we had a little bit more meteorological forensic evidence from our Capital Weather gang, Jeffrey Halverson, our severe weather expert. He actually found radar data yesterday that above the ground there were 93, 94 mile per hour wind gusts available for a downburst, but luckily we only saw, I think, an 84 maximum strong wind gusts, 84 miles per hour in the DC area yesterday on ground level. So it was very dynamic, very quick, fairly violent yesterday with some of these storms. That was the wind source was directly from the clouds. So you will love the graphics and the write-up that we did here at CWG.news/downburst, so please check that out. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com, simulcasting to you live and getting your comments on all three platforms right now. I am on the air another 10 minutes, so we're halfway through our 20-minute weekly Sunday sunset chat. Let's see what else I can show you. Our week ahead in temperatures. Here's Monday through Saturday I have for you. The warming trend is very slow into the end of the week. We maybe get to 90 perhaps by the end of the week into the weekend, but there's not a race in the atmosphere to get back toward the 90-degree mark or higher. But you'll see as we go through these slides, like into the end of the week, that it does get very much warmer and closer to average warmth for this time of year in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. But of course, that average high temperature is slowly slipping back away from its 90-degree maximum in the middle of July. Humidity also does tick up as we get closer toward the end of the week, but dew points should behave themselves. Humidity should behave by staying a dew point under 70 degrees until perhaps Friday, fingers crossed. This graph above is kind of a way I wanted to communicate the possibilities in the temperature ranges for this week through the weekend. Now, with each hump, that's kind of the everyday's maximum temperature as we go into the weekend. And you can see it's fairly cool, fairly certain and confident. The scenarios are fairly close together in this graphic for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we start seeing some possibilities in the background simulations in the gray as we get into the week, end of the week, and in the weekend. There are some possible simulations here that are pointing to 90 degrees or maybe even a little hotter. So we'll keep, our confidence medium at most as we get into some of those wider range of simulations by the end of the week into the weekend. But generally the trend is a little bit warmer by the end of the week. And again, dew points behaving themselves and staying below 70 degrees until perhaps Saturday. David, none of our team, I believe, directly surveys the damage with the National Weather Service, but our expert, Jeffrey Halverson, is very much involved with them, and that's why we are very happy to have him giving us his expertise. Lori, 84-mile-per-hour winds were in your neighborhood. I'm really sorry to hear that. I imagine it is not pretty there, and I hope you have power soon, but you were saying maybe it's out till Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Very sorry to hear that, if my memory is serving. Paul, you are having another track day this Friday. I'm sorry that there might be some storms and humidity by Friday. Hey, M&M, a storm last night indeed. Make sure you follow our latest on that at CWG.news/downburst. Let me put that link up right there for you. And I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you're following us on all three of our channels. I appreciate you tuning in from Twitter, M&M. Chad on Facebook, the drought is pretty bad. Yes, indeed. We'll go into that again in a moment. And indeed, Rodney, I agree. Dew points below 70 degrees are very nice this time of year. And Paul, I don't think we have a major signal for severe storms this Friday, but of course we'll keep you posted. It is the time of year that when we do see storms coming through, they have a lot of available potential energy and instability with high dew points, and we'll see. If they have a potential to be a little more numerous, a little more organized, but too far out to say anything for certain. And also don't worry and try. When after the derecho came through, I think I had hypervigilance after the derecho for quite a while, and storms really, even for me, I was kind of watching for severe levels. But I don't want you to have to worry about that too much for your mental health. So we'll keep you posted at CapitalWeatherGang.com as we get closer. But currently, the data doesn't support us being this far in advance, being in a kind of ready status, a ready state. All right, so we've got Mary with rain on Saturday, has a decent likelihood, but confidence is medium at best. There is a chance that rain clears out by Friday, so we'll keep you posted, Mary, as we get closer to this weekend at CapitalWeatherGang.com. My PM update is above here at CWG.news/latest. I included one last bit of great technical forensic meteorological information from our expert, Jeffrey Halverson, on our team. He found some radar data that is very interesting, and it goes in tandem with our debrief here for you at CWG.news/downburst. We've got a great graphic in there for you and a good write-up on yesterday's storms. David, it was a remarkable event. I do believe the 2012 derecho did meet that criteria. Yes, indeed. Charlene, you're harvesting lots of veggies. I hope that means that you got a lot of rain earlier in the season. Wow, that's a great list. I wish I was near you to buy all that from a farm stand or something. That's fantastic. All right, I think I've caught up. Let me check Twitter comments really quick. Great. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com on the air another 5 minutes or so. We do this every week, our weekly Sunday Sunset Chats. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, taking your comments and questions for the week ahead. Latest forecast, I did the PM update there at CWG.news/latest. And here's our debrief on yesterday's storms we released today at CWG.news/downbursts. Thanks for following us on CapitalWeatherGang.com and all three of our social media channels. Let's go into the temperatures for this week, and then we'll get into precipitation and the droughts. Here it is Monday, starting off fairly comfortable with below average warmth for this time of year. We slowly warm into midweek and late week. 90 degrees is not a guarantee during the work week this week. We're going to struggle to stay at or near average, which is kind of upper 80s for this time of year. But the trend is for warmer by the end of the week, into the weekend, and a little bit more moist in the air, a little bit more humid. Dew points might get back to 70 degrees, which is fairly uncomfortable by Friday. And as you can see from this additional graph, how the temperature ranges are expressing themselves, they are pointing a little bit higher with a little bit of confidence by the end of the week. So generally the trend is for warmer by the end of the week, although it is not guaranteed. Let's see, I also wanted to show you that we've got precipitation coming in maybe as early as this coming morning before dawn. A rumble of thunder can't be ruled out, maybe waking us up before our alarm clocks. But we do turn dry by Monday night into Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, rain chances return just a little bit, but we might see more organized, more numerous storms on Friday. We'll keep you posted if there's a stronger signal as we get closer. None yet that they might be strong to severe, but we will keep you updated at CapitalWeatherGang.com as we get toward the end of the week, because it will be muggy and warm. And I'm broadcasting 6 minutes earlier this week on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. So we are losing that evening light slowly but surely after the summer solstice. Pollen update looking great across the board for fellow allergy sufferers. We are feeling not too bad from pollen or spores at this time, especially this time of year. And of course, here is my PM update at CWG.news/latest. With also that additional piece of radar forensic data from yesterday's storms that Jeffrey Halverson discovered for us. I included that in addition to that write-up we did for the storms. All right, rain over the next 7 days is going to be more generous south of town and southeast of town, even southwestern Virginia. So unfortunately, this is what I wanted to show you, kind of that lighter rain potential area. It's right where we don't want to see it, which is in the drought area, kind of north and northwest of D.C. We've still got a moderate and a severe drought there in the darkest orange in central Maryland, north of D.C. But I want to offer some optimism that even next work week, the atmosphere is signaling it is, with slight probability anyway, that we could have above average precipitation. Our heat tracker might not see much activity with adding on days that have been 90 degrees or hotter, because the atmosphere can't quite make up its mind for next work week whether or not it really wants to send us heat or not. So equal chances that we're below average or above average as it stands now. We'll keep you posted if the atmosphere wants to give us a clear signal as we get closer. And here it is, a quick tropical update for you. Central Atlantic does have one disturbance that has a 70% chance of developing into a named storm in the next 7 days. That would be Emily if it does develop in the Central Atlantic, and only a slight probability of this weak disturbance off of the Carolina coast developing as it moves further and further away from land and out to sea. So it's not any sort of concern for us at this time. All right, Twitter, I've caught up on the comments. Paul, we could have some rain next weekend. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. And Charlene, I will see if I can arrange something in August for a meetup. That would be great. For the Capital Weather Gang folks, that would be really cool. I do miss you guys. And Paul, I know it's far away. Initial thoughts on all weekend, not just Friday. So I think it is going to be warm and muggy this weekend. That's my current take. Confidence is at most medium, and I think rain chances are also moderate. I can't promise you a dry weekend as it looks now, but of course we need to watch that. The timing of things can get a little bit hazy when we look that many days out. So If Friday's storms don't really clear out the atmosphere effectively, we could still have some humidity and some showers and storms around in a typical summertime fashion for the weekend as well. David, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Ontario, Mahia, thanks for tuning in from Canada. I love that. And let's see, Twitter, let me know if you have any questions or concerns in the next few minutes. That looks like, wow, I've hit my 20-minute mark. All right. So that is it for me. Have a great Sunday night, everyone, and week ahead is looking with below average warmth, pretty nice. Dew points are going to behave themselves. Latest forecast at CWG.news/latest, and I'm on every week on Sunday nights, Sunday sunset. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for following on all three of those, including the new name of X, which is Twitter, and see our great write-up at CWG.news/downburst explaining what the heck happened yesterday and where that wind damage came from. All right, signing off for CapitalWeatherGang.com, I'm Cameron Walker. You have a great week as well, Charlene, and everyone. Enjoy the break from the heat. Bye for now.